Hello everyone. Hello Facebook world, where I'm live streaming right now. Oh my goodness, happy Friday, I think we're at. And you can see me now. I found a part of the road of shade. This is beautiful clear skies here in the south of England. And I thought I would do a little live to share with you the process of a Pranic Feast. To share with you what the body can really do. And to bust some myths as well about the body, the mind, and why this 3.5 days is so much fun to do. So I am in the process of a Pranic Feast. Some call it a pranic initiation, some call it a breatharian challenge, because it is 4 days, or 3.5 days, 3.5 of no food, as we normally use the word food, no water, no liquids. We are nourishing ourselves through prana, through chi. Now this is something that is really quite interesting to a lot of people. But also at the same time, it can be one of those where it is just so surrounded in myth and in falsities that it's almost really worthwhile to kind of document this. And this is the 4th one that I've done in the past 1.5 years, this 4th long Breatharian challenge or long dry fast. But I do just want to start by rephrasing the word fast. Because when we use the word fast, it kind of indicates that there is a depletion occurring, a starvation, a depletion. And that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. But I just started by saying that this is the 4th one that I've done, and I've never really done a video each day. So I wanted to do a video each day just to share with you what it feels like, what the highs are, what the lows are, what the challenges are, some of the myths and some of the questions as well, because there are a lot of questions, and they're really important, right? They're really important. So the first thing, for anyone that is really new to what it is here that I'm doing, and chances are if you're watching this, it probably is really quite new, or you're probably kind of thinking, maybe it is like a fast. Well, it is and it isn't. In the sense that I will consume no food, no liquid, no water for 84 hours at least, then yes, it is a fast in that sense. But the body does not need the food or the water or the liquid. It doesn't need it, not to be consumed this way, anyway. Because the body itself, the cells, every cell of your body, like we're all energy. Every cell of your body can be drinking water. This air is not empty. There's nothing empty in this air. It is full of the universe. It is full of everything. There is water in the air. And your body is so incredible in the sense that if it is thirsty, it will drink. Wow, I say this as there is a beautiful massive hawk flying overhead. Hello, Horus. Blessed by the sun child there. The body is a complete ecosystem. But the mind and the body have to be aligned here. So we changed the name from a fast to a feast, because we are feasting on prana. So what does that look like? What does our days look like? Well, food, digestive tract within our body, the mouth through to the anus, that is one tube, that is one pipe. It is a system that will move through and will rot the food within, retrieving nourishment, retrieving whatever minerals there are. But that food has consciousness, right? That food has consciousness, it has emotion, it has energy, and it's very medicinal in many ways. This isn't about not being friend with food, you know? But this is about what's our relationship like with it, you know? But that digestive tract, that's an elimination system. It is created and it is optimized, and has been for the full of our lives in this lifetime especially, by consuming something, taking what it needs and then releasing it, right? The water system, entering the same way, that's very different. That's a filtration system. when we drink water or anything liquid, it goes into our blood. It still goes through the elimination organs, but it joins with the blood, it merges with blood, and then the excess blood comes out as through the bladder, or through sweat, or through, you know, any of the liquids that exit. And that's a very different system. So why is it important to start here? Well, we only really need the water because we're eating the food. The food dehydrates us. The food requires a lot of energy. We have to sleep when we are eating food. It's a numbing agent. When we start to eat something, you know, it numbs our emotions. Our connection with food can often be very emotionally or psychologically based. You know, it's rare that you see someone that goes, I'm eating solely for pleasure. And that is enough pleasure that I've had from that taste that I can stop right here. You know, usually we go, oh, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat something. So a 3.5-day Pranic Feast, first we prepare the body, right? So I did a week of juicing, or just short of a week of juicing. So I was drinking a lot of pineapple juice with green apple and ginger, grape juice and lime, watermelon juice, as you've seen by the posts, if you've been watching some of the posts that I've been putting up. And in the Breatharian or Pranic community, you know, there is so much science as well backing all this, so definitely do your own research, but there is so much wonderful science here. But they say that when we are consuming the waters, good afternoon, Brian, when we're consuming the waters of a fruit, that is the cleanest, purest water there is out there. That is the cleanest, the most highest frequency water there is it goes straight from the fruit. So when we're choosing a fruit, you know, listen to it, listen to the body, listen to the fruit, see what is going to pair in a good way. For me, I was getting called to pineapple. It was the summer solstice as well. I was juicing over the summer solstice. And what we start to do then is we're starting to cleanse the system. We're detoxing the system. Emotions are going to arise. This is a detox program. Emotions arise. So I found a lot of emotions, a lot of shadows wanting to come up through the solstice. Obviously, all the solar flares that we had as well definitely helped in that alchemy. But you want to prepare the body. Give the body notice. The body is somewhat like a child. We have to give it notice. We can't just say, right, we're going. Right, we're doing this. You know, you have to give notice. This is about every part of you working in harmony, in unison, unity. The emotions, the mind, all aspects of the mind, the body, the spirit. We have to allow the thoughts that are so ingrained in our collective consciousness to come forward, because they will. The belief that if you go for 3 days without water, you'll die. Wrong. Not true. The belief that we need food to survive. Wrong. Not true. It's a codependent relationship. Right? The belief that if we live in a place that's a city where there's pollution, that we need certain foods to detox our body. No, our body is actually, it's miraculous in nature if we allowed it to be, if we helped it remember. Now, you're probably not going to just jump into a weekend like this just from doing kind of like nothing, you know, like you're probably not going to go from like a very kind of like meat and, you know, cooked food heavy diet, 3 meals a day, to a breatharian weekend. You know, you'd start in a different way. But what's really nice is this process, just to help elaborate why it's not a fast, is because there's whilst I was juicing the week before, I was also upping my meditation. I was making sure that I was allowing my body to feel the nourishment through light, through prana, through meditation, through self-cultivation, through yoga, through qigong, through movement. I was kickboxing this week, I was cycling this week, you know, and I've had more energy than what I do when I'm on solid food. And I was just on juices this week. I was feasting on the juices, detoxing my body at the same time. I then, on the Thursday morning, did a very, very, very old, it's thousands of years old, practice called Shank Prakshalana. It's a yogic, it's a tantric practice, a saltwater cleanse which cleanses from top to toe of your body. There's certain asanas that you do, certain movements that you do, and you're drinking a water with salt in it to the consistency of blood, so it moves through your digestional system and it cleanses and it clears. So instead of it going through your bladder, it goes through your whole colon and the digestive tract running up to it, to really release any of the foods that are stored, or any of the foods accessible that are stored in the digestive system, because it stores everything. We've got mucoid plaque in there, we've got parasites in there, living in there happily. You know, we've got lots of food from last week, food from last year. We don't realize it's still stored there. So you want to clear the body as much as possible to make it easy, because like we said at the very beginning of this video, all food has consciousness. Just watching the car there coming up. All food has consciousness. And if it's stored in a rotting state in the digestive system, that's quite challenging to then fast, to then have nothing such as water to clear through. So you want to prepare your body, honor your body. I'm just going to pause a moment while this car goes by. Are they going by? Oh no, they're turning. Oh, how lovely. How wonderful. Pop me a comment in here if you've ever done like any type of fast, whether that's intermittent fasting, juicing, water cleanse, anything like that. Because I want to hear your experiences if you want to share them. Because I think anyone that's done anything like that, and even if that's just, I'm not going to have breakfast until 10 o'clock in the morning or until noon, you know, it's a practice more for the mind than the body, because the body really knows what it's doing. So, so this is day one. So I had my last sip of water with the beautiful group of people that I do this with. I do these weekends. This is an online one, but you could have gone to Costa Rica and actually spent some time with them. But I do this with the Pranic family. It's a charity organisation, non-profit. And it's really well structured because there is such an understanding, such a scientific background, as well as an experiential background of knowing what the body is going to go through, knowing what the mind is going to tell you, because the biggest challenge is of the mind. The biggest challenge is of the mind for anything like this, whether it's an intermittent fast, a water cleanse, whether it's a Pranic Feast. It's the mind that is the most challenging. It's the most challenged, I should say. You know? So if we honor the body in the run-up, if we let ourselves do the cleansing, and if we're telling our body actively, you're going to draw in right now, in this moment, whatever the most beneficial energy is to you. Receive it. Receive it. It's in the air. It's all around you. I'm nourished by prana alone. And you know, everything is prana, right? So even food, solid food is prana. Right? It's just a denser form. It's a dense light body. Our bodies can thrive. And there are still cultures that do this. I went for a massage this morning, and my masseuse, she was telling me about this book. You know, she was like, you know, drink plenty afterwards. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be drinking, you know, for another 3 days, 3 and a bit days. She was like, what? I was just telling her a little bit. I was like, well, I'm on a Pranic Feast. I'm like, cultivating my prana. I'm reminding my body and letting my mind feel safe enough to trust that my body knows what it's doing. It's a complete ecosystem. It will draw the water in it needs. It will still detox from anything around, anything in the air or anything wherever, whatever's going on, the emotions, it's still going to do that. But yeah, and she was like, oh, you know, I read this book once, and it was about a journalist who had gone to a tribe, an Aboriginal tribe, and that's what they do. They don't eat, they don't drink. It's blazing hot sun. It's Aboriginal, so I'm presuming it's somewhere around Australia. I'm going to get the book and read it because I found it so curious what she was saying. I was like, wow. So yeah, a journalist had gone to this tribe to experience what they experience, because they haven't done the devolution process. Ah, Brian, you've done 18-hour water fast. That's really cool. How did you feel when you were doing that? Do you remember? I want to know, do you remember how you felt through it? Because, you know, our stomach, if we've taught our stomach to eat 3 meals a day for a lifetime, the moment it stops eating for a day, it goes, you know, it makes the noises, doesn't it? It's like it doesn't know what a holiday is. It's like a holiday doing any type of fast. Water fasting is so wonderful. Water cleansing is so wonderful, you know. But yeah, I was listening to my masseuse anyway. She was telling me, she was like, so this woman had gone to this tribe, and they're out there in the blazing hot sun. They don't eat and they don't drink, and they don't really talk. They communicate telepathically. And I'm like, as we all can, as we all do, as we're remembering. And you know, and obviously, you know, her mind, her ego, her fear was really powerful, because if you've heard for centuries upon centuries, you know, you've got to eat this, this, and this food is good for you, this particular group is good for you, you know, you got to have this amount of protein, or this type of sugar is bad, or this type of fat is good, but this type is bad, and blah, blah, blah. If you've had all of that for hundreds of years, and it's in our family, in our family, in our family, you know, it's a lot to face. It's a lot to face when you've no other choice but to face it, especially when it comes to water. So, anyway, what I found really interesting, and so I'm going to buy this book whenever I can find it somewhere. It's called, I think it was Mutant Messages from the Aboriginals, I think it's called. I'll double check it in a moment. But, and this is the thing, is that we've all gone through this stage of devolution, right? And what does that mean? We've descended, right? We've descended. We, you know, in Lemuria and Atlantis, before then, we didn't really eat, we didn't drink. You know, we could do if we wanted to. You know, we would do. We'd enjoy the pleasures. We'd share flavors, you know, when it was right, if it was in ritual, if it was in ceremony, if we chose to receive a certain medicine, you know, of that particular frequency. But we don't really do things like that now, right? You know, and the lighter our body is, the lighter the nourishment is, the more easy it is for us to do things that are seemingly superhuman, but are actually very, very natural, like telepathy, you know, real-time seeing with your pineal gland, you know, with your eyes closed or with a blindfold on, telekinesis, you know, things like this. These are normal things that when we are nourished by a lighter form of nourishment, and we practice this, and we surrender the ego that is stored in our cells, in the cellular memory from lifetimes, 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 these things start to come back. We just have to be around that frequency long enough for it to be activated and catalyzed, and we remember how to do it. So it's a lot of fun, right? It's a lot of fun. And yeah, lovely Brian saying, yeah, his water fast was great. It felt great. Yeah, good. Because you do, your body loves it. Your body loves fasting. Your body loves feasting on lighter nourishment. But then here's a really interesting question about the solar flares, about the Schumann Resonance. You know, because the Earth's heartbeat, obviously we've all been talking about this recently, the Schumann Resonance just went massively, like, highest it's been, you know, over the solstice, just before it, in the run up to the solstice. And the solar flares are, they're just massive amounts of energy just rushing through. That's just a natural cycle of the sun and of the Earth. But it's interesting because the Earth is receiving the energy first, then we receive it, right? You know, we receive it from the sun anyway, being on top of the surface of the Earth here, you know. But it also comes up through the Earth. Now, if the Earth's heartbeat is rising to a frequency so high that actually is transcendent of what our vibration is, and yes, we're going to feel that. Yes, anything that is too dense, whether that's a physical response in your body, an allergic response, hay fever response, something else, whether it's a emotion, a thought, a challenge come up in your reality, those things are going to come up when the solar flares come and when the Schumann Resonance spikes. They're going to come up because they don't align with where we're remembering to go back to, you know. And I say remembering because once again we have within us the remembrance from Lemuria, from the other planets, from the other Earths that we've been to, from Atlantis and pre-Atlantis, the longer ago version, where it was a very different nourishment. It's only in the past few thousand years, you know, 10, 12, 15,000 years, that we've gone through this devolution of consciousness. Okay, we'll start to eat this, and we'll start to eat this, and now I must take this from this being in order to nourish myself, and now I must take more from this being to nourish myself, and now I must, you know. And our higher selves are calling us. Our higher selves are calling us back home. Because we've experimented there, we've tried that out. It doesn't feel great, right? It doesn't feel so great. we have a wonderful time of life, but we have all these challenges, and we want to have less challenges, more bliss, right? So whenever you're doing any type of feasting on a lighter form of nourishment, so a water feast, a juice feast, pranic feast, bit by bit you're detoxing your body, you're detoxing your cells. A pranic feast, you're using the element of fire. There's no water, so all your water is going to be burned through and regenerated, crystal clear. So that's your eyes, your brain, your organs. Your body itself, after a day and a half, 2 days, your body will start to essentially remove and delete and eat up the cells which are malfunctioning, which are aging, which are ill or misaligned, and only propagate the healthy ones. This is age reversal. This is age reversal. When we move our body, we cultivate energy. So I'm out for a walk right now. I'm barefoot on the earth, just moving my body, because I was like, I feel rested enough. I'm still full of energy, but I need to move my body to just move the energy around a little bit anyway. I'll go do some qigong later. But this is a snack for me. This is a snack, a pranic snack. Thank you for your comments, beautiful loves. Oh yeah, the 4-second breath work is awesome. Yes. Oh good. It's very helpful, hey, just to hold that breath. For anyone that's reading that comment or hearing me say that, I did a video. My meditation Wednesday was the fourfold breath, and it's just a very good way of centering, aligning, grounding, moving back into the heart and just bringing that oxygen in to flood the body, because the body needs the oxygen. It wants it, it craves it, and we forget to breathe. We forget to breathe a lot, right? So this is day 1. What time are we at? 19:12. So for 18 hours, I've been on a dry fast so far. Of course, some of it I've slept. So we all dry fast every night without realizing. We all go to sleep. We're not eating or drinking as we sleep. So you can all do this as well. This isn't like a new thing. You can all do this. We're all doing this every day anyway. It's just helping manage the mind, because right now the mind is managing us. So it is so beautiful out. It's so fascinating how attuned your senses get as well when you're not eating or drinking in the conventional sense. You could smell things like a mile away, like the frequency of like a strawberry. I was saying this to my friend before. I was like, yeah, last time I did one of this, it was such a blissful experience. The 4 days was so blissful. It felt so good because I prepared my body well. I managed my mind well. I was doing the pranic exercises to cultivate my chi, to move my energy around. I was doing the qigong, I was doing the yoga, I was doing the meditation, I was listening to my body, I was sleeping when I needed sleep, which is not a lot when you're not eating. You just don't need it. Your body's not needing to expend its energy. And it was so blissful. And I was saying to my friend, I was like, when I first had a strawberry a few days after the dry fast last time ended, oh my God, it was practically orgasmic, because it was so intense and so delicious and so well received. I was able to receive that strawberry in such a different way. It's mad. This isn't a hard dry fast. It's not a hard one where we're not showering. So, when you shower as well, it's such a joyful experience, because your body is connecting and it's literally drinking from the cells, the water, it's gulping it down, whatever it wants. The body is in control of that because it knows. We just got to leave it to it. Trust it. Let the emotions arise as they do, because they will. Let the mental shadows come forward, because this is going to be like a pranic feast. Some people walking their dog over here. Oh my gosh. It makes me laugh when someone's like got a dog and they go out somewhere muddy and then they get upset when the dog jumps up at them. I'm like, bless. The dog's just showing its joy. It's so excited. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's such a joyful experience if we let it be. And so many of us are missing out on it because we don't believe that we can skip a meal, because we believe so many things that are so medically attached to, health, or what we believe health to be. But remember, the allopathic industry is only a few thousand years old. This is older. And along came the allopathic industry when our consciousness devolved, because it was needed. It was needed to remedy. When we start to consume and bring it in from the outside rather than cultivate inside, then we need an external remedy, because we've given our power away, we've given our consciousness away, we've given our energy away. So it was very needed, but as we're seeing already, and as we'll continue to see, the allopathic line is going to be less and less needed the more we realize that holistic, that everything is within. And it's this wonderful cycle, this spiral. We've already reached the center, we've already reached the pinnacle, and we're spiraling back out now in this rising of consciousness. But this is nothing new. This is nothing new. Everyone is remembering at their own pace what they're ready to remember, what they're wanting to remember. And what a joy it is to share this with you. So day one, how am I feeling? Great. I'm not feeling tired, I'm not feeling challenged, I'm not feeling achy, I'm not feeling any signs of detox. I'm grateful that I did the juicing before, because usually I don't do that length of juicing before, and I will always do that going forward now because it was such a great experience. But I'm feeling great so far. Usually day two is the more challenging one, because that's when emotions will start to come up, because the mind gets very chatty on day two, usually. But I listen to my body. I will nap if I need to nap. I'll do a movement practice if I'm feeling a bit stagnant. I'll get outside and breathe the air. I'll go to the sea. This beautiful hawk up here, can you see that? Don't know if the camera will zone in enough. Can you see that hawk up there? It's been circling, hovering, and just like blessing us all on this video whilst we've been doing it. But anyway, so day one, easy peasy. For me, other times it hasn't been so easy. When I do this and it's not summer, it's a little bit more challenging. You know? That beautiful hawk, wow. Anyway, I'll send you all so much love. If you've got questions about what this weekend is going to look like, any questions that you may have around Breatharianism, lighter forms of pranic nourishment, juice fasting, juice cleansing, juice feasting, water cleansing, you know, anything like that, drop me a message or comment on one of these videos, and I'll address it in the next video the next day. So anyway, the horses that are in the field next to me say hello. I'm going to go back in and maybe take my bike out for a bit. So much love to you. Bye for now.